And welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast. This is the Wrestling Edition, episode 38, titled Dangerous Euro Toronto G1 Finals. A hodgepodge title, not my best work. However, it is a lot of wrestling to talk about. As usual, I am your host, JD, host of the Red Leaf Retrocast. Gaming, anime, wrestling, you name it, it's all here. It's found everywhere except SoundCloud. But please, before even listening to this episode, I encourage an iTunes review. It's been a long time since we got one of those. Getting them in numerous other places, such as Stitcher Smart Radio. Very much appreciated. What we got on the docket today is very special. Just like I promised in the previous episode, there will be All Japan women on this episode. There will be more Joshi wrestling on this episode, such as Seadlinnng, a first time ever talking about that. Of course, there's Ice Ribbon. We have our Wrestler Spotlight. Continuing our journey down Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic, NWA style of the U.S. Champion. Going through that list. MLW Weekly. We got Stardom, a host of stuff. Their 5-star Grand Prix has just started. The first 2 days have been completed. And yes, it did qualify for this episode to talk about them both in full, plus a certain other show. Smash, Progress, and WXW were killing it in Toronto over the WWE SummerSlam weekend. So they got in on that action. So for the first time ever, we're talking about Smash Wrestling, the local Toronto Canadian promotion. They did a joint Progress show there. We got more Dragon Gate. Very excited to talk about that. That features Ben K's first defense of the Dream Gate title. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yes, it's finally happened, the G1 Finals. And of course, finishing off with an episode of WCW Nitro from 1998. So yeah, I'm your host JD, like I said. Lots to talk about, so let's just get right into it with Seadlinnng, a Joshi promotion we've never covered on this cast before. They had a release of their Summer Blast 2019 show. That took place on July 11th. It was very much later released. Finally got my hands on it and watched the whole thing. It was, by all intents and purposes, a pretty good show. It was a very strong card. However, that didn't come without a lot of critique. Because the undercard was indeed an undercard. And then when it finally got into its little motion with its final 3 matches. There was a tag team match of Miyuki Takase and Ryu Mizunami, she might ring a bell, defeating the team of Hikaru Shida and Makoto Shindo. Match was fine. Got to see Shida and Mizunami go at it once again. You might have seen them in an AEW showcase at Double or Nothing. That match went 13 minutes, 20 seconds. I quite liked it. It was your standard tag match affair. And then followed that was, now we're into the final 3. Arisa Nakajima defeats Mima Shimoda in a 16-minute, 28-second match. Holy crap. A match that went way too long and was way too slow. This just wasn't good. That's where I'll leave it at that. Then we went into the Seadlinnng Beyond the Sea title match. This is Seadlinng's big title. And I was very much anticipating this match. This was champion Takumi Iroha, whom I've discussed before in a Stardom anniversary show, I believe, or a joint with, no, it was Stardom Cross, I think it was Garo, where Iroha and Mayu Iwatani last year went to a 30-minute draw. That was a phenomenal match. Well, Iroha's defending her Seadlinnng title against Amazon, a very large African-American woman. Unfortunately, my anticipation was quickly quelled as the match went 10 minutes and 25 seconds to my disappointment. However, Thankfully, this match wasn't good, so it was only 10 minutes. This seemed much longer than 10, because half was Amazon beating on Iroha, until Iroha got a fighting spirit moment, and from there took a couple of shots, but fought right through it to hit her with her signature moves, wins off a rear naked choke of all things to retain. I get what they were going for. Amazon is a much larger opponent, and Iroha, I like watching Iroha. I wish she was in, say, Ice Ribbon, where she could be a main eventer challenging against Fujimoto and Yuki and Takiya Saya and all those. I want to see more of Iroha. I think she's in too small a promotions for her skill level, and those promotions they don't get as much buzz. I know the old saying, I'd rather be a top dog in a small pond kind of deal, or top shark in a small ocean. But I think Iroha's better than all this. Regardless, she retains rear naked choke. Seadlinnng Beyond the Sea tag team title match was the main event. Now this was interesting. It is Hiroyo Matsumoto and Yoshiko teaming up, taking on Meiko Satomura and Nane Takahashi. This was worthy of a main event. 16 minutes, 37 seconds. An example of 4 heavy-hitting strong vets just doing their thing. Whoa, kitty cat. Every wrestling podcast. Every time. Unbelievable. Nane and Matsumoto crushed this match in their 1v1 moments. That was definitely my favorite sparring match. While the super vets as of Yoshiko and Satomura would intervene for tag maneuvers when needed. I really like these roles. It suited them well. We got the better workers. Well, Satomura's a beast. Yoshiko I'm not the biggest fan of, but she hits hard. But whom I want to see wrestle more in this period of time, is definitely Matsumoto and Takahashi, and they killed it in the ring. This is exactly how the main event should have been. Matsumoto and Yoshiko retain their title. Very much love this match. To the credit of Matsumoto and Takahashi, they're not, a little spoiler now, because I think this was a tag match and they didn't have enough one-on-one moment, as long as it was, that's why they're not cracking the top wrestlers for the women in this instance. So, that was Seadlinnng. It was a very interesting show. I've seen 1 or 2 big shows from them in the past, but this was the first one in quite some time. And with that, let me make sure I got my drop ready, because I got a drop for Ice Ribbon, baby. Here it goes. Yes, it's about time Ice Ribbon got its own drop, even if it's at the beginning of the show. This is just where I like putting Ice Ribbon, because it's very infrequent in how much I cover on the cast. This is that was Hikaru Shida's AEW entrance music, by the way. Just a lot easier to find. I couldn't get a good clean copy of Maya Yukihi or Fujimoto's entrance music, nor could I get Shida's Ice Ribbon entrance music. So I just thought of getting Shida's music from AEW. Regardless. Ice Ribbon 974, Osaka Ribbon 2019 3, so their third visit to Osaka. Just going to talk about the last 3 matches yet again. Scottish women's title match on the line here. Jayla Dark, the champion, large Scottish woman. She defeats Satsuki Totoro, our big panda bear looking girl. It was an 8-minute, 21-second match. 2 Haas women going at it. A bit sloppy, but passable, I would say. Jayla Dark does retain the awfully not defended Scottish title. Then post-match, Jayla Dark woefully and emotionally announces her retirement officially. And Tsukasa Fujimoto hops in the ring right quick. They clearly have a nice little relationship there, and Ice Ribbon and Jayla Dark really gave her a good little send-off here. International Ribbon Tag Team title match. Julia and Takiya Saya are the champions. They are defending against Maika Ozaki and Saori Ano. Very interesting tandem here. So, Julia and Saya do have a tag team name. And it is... I do have it. I swear I have it. I should have written this down. Burning Raw. That is their tag team name. I quite like that. So Burning Raw against Maika Ozaki, whom I'm a big fan of, and Saori Ano, whom I've never seen wrestle really a good amount outside of Oz Academy, where she's a heel with Maya Yukihi in Ozaki-gun. So, a 12-minute, 16-second match. Now, what did I think of this? This was the opposite of the Seadlinnng main event. As in, this was for young talents, showing a more speed-filled approach as opposed to a hard-hitting veteran approach. Julia and Maika Ozaki killed it in their 1v1 at the end of the match, while Saya would intervene for tag maneuvers while keeping Saori Ano out of the match. So this was specifically made, because we know Ozaki is a powerhouse. I really like her look, I like her style in the ring. So this was to keep Ano strong, keeping her out. And this was the same tactic we saw in how Saya and Julia won the tag titles. So why would they change in their defense, right? So as for Saori Ano, this is what I've been waiting for with her. There's a couple people in the Brain Buster Radio Discord, particularly I think Mad Max, whom has been very high on Saori Ano. Well, when given her moments, her movement in the ring is very good and can show off great sequences at times. I was quite impressed. I've never seen this in the Oz Academy matches I've seen with her. She's really on the cusp of breaking out. I totally agree with Saori Ano being a good future. Julia and Saya destroy Maika Ozaki for the finish with a burning driver. There was quite a noticeable amount of miscommunication, mistimed moves, but the match was good despite all that. So very good stuff there. I was very happy with this tag team match. Ice Ribbon and their tag division, just like Stardom, very strong. Dragon Gate's tag team division is very strong. And then on the outlook of AEW, having a very strong tag division. Those are your top ones in the world, in my opinion. Always good. And now the main event. Ice Infinity title match. Maya Yukihi, the champion, finally defending the Infinity title against the rival, the face that runs the place of Ice Ribbon, Tsukasa Fujimoto. They had their match in August last year, where Fujimoto defeated Yukihi. Then Yukihi had to gain back her status to get another opportunity, which she won in January of this year. So this is since the series stands at 1 apiece, this is their rubber match, right? Can Maya retain and become a legit top dog in Ice Ribbon, or will Fujimoto regain her throne? So this match was back and forth. Very much even throughout. Anything you can do, I can dish it right back mentality, which I really liked in their August encounter when they were doing this. It was kicks, suplexes, forearms, everything except their signature moves were hit at the beginning. All throughout the match, their signature moves were teased or hit on the first try, which really kept me guessing how the pace of this match was going to go. The lone exception was Tsukasa's Code Red and the Japanese Ocean-style suplex. Those were Tsukasa's moves. Or Maya's Swanton Bomb, Maya's finisher. Each traded control, not going after really any submission holds except one. There was one single time there was a submission used, and that was a break in the action around the 12-15 minute mark. It was well thought out, well paced. It never felt boring. It was never drawn out, which is very great for anything. Once you eclipse that 17-minute mark, and you're going to go a distance, whether that's 20, 25, 30. If you feel like the match is just screaming by, and then in my case, if I look at the clock, I'm like, holy shit, 17 minutes has passed? That's what this match. As soon as they got into that rest hold, the submission hold at the 15-minute mark, I went, holy crap, that's how much time has gone by? Great stuff. In particular, my favorite moment was one at the start when they were trading the hard back kicks. They were coming back to who can kick each other the hardest from their August encounter. So what happens is Tsukasa kicks Maya first. Maya gets up. Tsukasa goes down. Maya's saying something, and she's like flipping her hair. So Tsukasa's ponytail is kind of in the way on her back. And Maya's slapping Tsukasa's hair away. Tsukasa kind of looks back. Her hair goes back to her. It falls back down. Maya slaps it away again. Does it a third time. And she kicks her back anyways, right? So then Tsukasa wanted to do another round of kicks, right? And Maya sits down hard, just falls butt first hard on the mat. And then she holds her own ponytail up and out of the way to take the kick, like just so to get that extra I'm tougher than you kind of thing. I moved your hair, you didn't want to do that. Oh, it was great. I loved it. That's the kind of charisma and personality I love out of Maya, where she makes, even in a match against Tsukasa Fujimoto, I felt like I was watching someone of her or higher level. It was excellent. The second moment was at the 25-minute mark, when both were trading just crazy flash near pinfalls of all variants, from countering signature moves to just going for that win, was just off something. Kind of think of like a Hazuki and Stardom match, where it's just pin. I'm going for the pin until she wants to hit something off of someone else's signature kind of situation. My favorite near fall was Tsukasa going for a corner spring kick. Think of it like the Beautiful Disaster Cody Rhodes does, or the sliced bread that Travis Banks does. So she goes for that. She's running towards the corner, and then Maya grabs her arm as she runs past her and pulls her back on the run, leading into an Asai roll pin, Ultimo Dragon style. I was like, oh my god, if that was at the actual finish, I would have just shit my pants. It was just that smooth in the motion. It totally fooled me. I thought it could have been a flash pin to end this match at 25 minutes of all things. So bear in mind, unless announced, title matches in Ice Ribbon have 30-minute draw limits. And I believe Stardom has a similar, or if not the same, ruling. So Maya does hit her Swanton Bomb, but Tsukasa was just close enough, and she grabs the ropes. So keeps the move strong, doesn't end the match. So both persons' moves were very protected and unable to win. That now makes the series... So, yes. So just before the match goes to its time limit draw, Tsukasa does hit the Ocean suplex. But upon landing it, the 30-minute bell rings. And so that makes the series now totally tied without a victor, 1-1-1. 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. Risa Sera hops in the ring, puts her hat in the mix, and she wants a 3-way instead of them kind of going at it for a 3rd, 4th, 5th time. From the context clues and the way they were speaking before Risa Sera came out, they're like, well, I guess we got to have another one. Risa Sera comes out. No, I don't think so. I need in on this. Make it a 3-way. And before they can shake the hands and do it like that, the entire Ice Ribbon locker room intervenes, all wanting their shot, instead of always waiting for these scores to be settled. So Maya and Tsukasa, this is what I don't speak Japanese. I know some words. This is what I got from it. Maya and Tsukasa think it best to agree to a title tournament with the winner getting the Infinity Belt. So Maya being the crazed champion, and it's almost like this draw because they couldn't figure out the best winner. They go, you know what? Since none of us win, nobody's the champion. This is how I took it as. And this is also a great way to get the belt off Maya and possibly building up another person within Ice Ribbon, whether that's Maika Ozaki, Julia making a good run, Saya perhaps living up. I don't think she's as good in the ring as, say, Ozaki, but damn good nonetheless. So yes, we have a New Japan Cup, a Queen of the Ring, an Ice Infinity Cup, if you will, for the title. Nothing's been up on Puroso Dream, nothing's gone up, but god damn it, I want to see how this unfolds so bad. It's very simple sports-driven storytelling. I was, at the very least, I got my own crazed story out of it. Very much for a 30-minute draw. I love this match. It's definitely among the best of the year, and Maya and Tsukasa just can't have a bad match. I've seen 3 of them now, and I fucking love them all. It's so good. And that was Ice Ribbon. Great show. Definitely, in my opinion, definitely better than Seadlinnng, although Seadling's tag match, I would say, eclipsed the Ice Ribbon tag match. So there you go. Where am I? I am at... that's where I am. Okay. Where are you, Bret Hart Drop? There you are.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Best there ever will be. Well, continuing the journey down the NWA US Champions, takes us to Champion 13, whom is Sergeant Slaughter, the 20th reign of the US title to date. Just to note, Wahoo McDaniel was the 12th champion, but we've already covered him on this podcast before, so I just skipped him. And he was the 19th reign. However, it was cut short due to injury suffered by Abdullah the Butcher. So the title was then vacated, and just like Jimmy Snuka, Sergeant Slaughter defeated Ricky Steamboat in a tournament final for the vacant title. So we know where we know where Ricky Steamboat stands. He will be in a tournament and put over the new guy. Slaughter would reign for 229 days from October 4th, 1981 to May 21st, 1982. So, this was an interesting trip that I took, because as a child, I was very much familiar with Sergeant Slaughter, Mr. You Puke situation, again, being Hulk Hogan's big opponent for a year or two, I guess, during Hogan's big reign, watching old tapes, watching VHSs, WWF's constant callbacks to Sergeant Slaughter, Mr. America gimmick, and yes, he still had Mr. America gimmick here in the NWA, and he was more or less the same person. So this is very interesting to me, because I've never been a big Sergeant Slaughter fan. However, I respected him to a degree. Even as a child, I was like, okay. And this kind of goes back to the Roddy Piper situation. I can now compare these two. I saved saying this specifically for Slaughter. So, Piper and Slaughter are both famous for their crazy feuds with Hulk Hogan and WWF. They're both former NWA US champions, seemingly back-to-back almost. And it came in the early 80s. So, what is the difference? Well, Roddy Piper wouldn't lose to Hogan. And that's how he kept himself on top of the WWF for so long. What happened with Sergeant Slaughter? Well, he was put in the program, he lost, and then we kind of never saw him again. He was like, he went Hacksaw Jim Duggan on us, right? Where he was the pro-America or against America gimmick, and never got, in the case of Slaughter, never got back up to the top until Hogan eventually did drop the belt and Slaughter did get it. I believe I have my history right on that. But the point is, it was Slaughter's time. I decided to watch 3 matches of Sergeant Slaughter. Really get a good feel for how he wrestled outside of the WWF. Because when you're against Hogan, you're very limited. You can't do a lot of your things. So I watched specifically Wahoo McDaniel versus Sergeant Slaughter on Worldwide April 21st, 1982. So this was actually McDaniel and Slaughter going for the U.S. title later, right? Then I watched Slaughter versus Jake Roberts, old NWA style match, and a much younger Jake Roberts, much more agile, much more fit. And then I watched an AWA title match of Sergeant Slaughter versus champion Stan Hansen, a crazy Texan. The McDaniel-Slaughter match was, by all intents and purposes, an NWA match. Wahoo McDaniel doing his shtick, Slaughter doing his shtick. Hard punches, tomahawk chops to the forehead kind of situation. It keeps your attention. It just doesn't hold up very well in today's wrestling world. Now, Slaughter Jake Roberts, even though it was a cut short kind of match, that was interesting because Roberts, the way he moves in the ring, really keeps Slaughter's skills and what he does at a minimum. So when Slaughter does get his knee strikes in, his punches in, they mean more. It was very interesting. And then when I got to the AWA, which the more AWA I end up watching, the more I really, really love what that promotion did. Stan Hansen's crazy. I watched like 7 promos getting ready for the Slaughter match. Slaughter has his you puke kind of situation. And this was just hard as fuck hitting, as is Stan Hansen. And Slaughter would just take it. He took a lot of chops and big hits in the Wahoo McDaniel match. So Slaughter was not above taking these hard, stiff shots. The Stan Hansen Slaughter match was, for all intents and purposes, felt like a fight. And I think a lot of that attributes to the way Stan Hansen just deals and roams in the ring. It's very forceful. And Slaughter would stand his ground, is the best way I'd put it. He'd try some heel tactics, pull some hair, pull some facial hair, spit in his face situation. And Slaughter ends up winning this match by locking in the Cobra Clutch on the apron while Hansen's in the ring, and then kind of putting him out before a 5 count, keeping the hold on as he gets back in the ring, and that's how he wins. It was an interesting finish. I quite liked it. So my thoughts on Sergeant Slaughter are definitely better than, say, Jimmy Snuka. It's interesting. He doesn't feel like the most charismatic in the ring, but he does commit a presence, and him willing to do, it's the after work is where it's all at. After the match, he does this. After the match, he does that. Before the match, he has this in mind. And that kind of gets you in a different mentality for the way Sergeant Slaughter would work. Is he my favorite performer in the world? No. Is he my favorite U.S. champion? No. But he definitely rose above, say, how I felt about Blackjack Mulligan. Definitely above Jimmy Snuka. Not above Roddy Piper situation. Not above Ricky Steamboat. And I think I got a good feel. Slaughter has his one style, he has his personality, and that was that. So I'm not disappointed, but it was definitely interesting seeing this side of non-WWF Sergeant Slaughter. And that would take me to whoever is champion 14 or 15 or 16. I think Slaughter and Daniel go back and forth for a little bit. Daniel. All right. Let me get the next drop ready, take a little sip of water, and we can move on to the weekly wrestling recap. Indeed. Weekly wrestling recap, MLW Fusion episodes 70 and 71. We're chugging right along. On this podcast, we have covered MLW Weekly since whatever Fusion episode January 4th was. Don't have it written down. Let's see here. 56. 3, 2, 1. 50, 40, 49, 48, 47. So like 38-ish around there. Fusion 38. So we've covered a lot of MLW at this point. When AEW rolls around, things might have to change. Might not have the time for MLW anymore with all the other stuff I like watching. But for now, in this moment, I love watching MLW. Episode 70, representing their new affiliation with Lucha Promotion in Tijuana, Mexico. The Crash is Bestia 666 with the beautiful Zelina De La Renta. He's taking on Rey Oros. They have a solid lucha-style match with each getting their moments to shine. Bestia counters Horus's top rope spinning pin driver. I don't know the exact name of it. Looks really cool and dangerous. But then Oros counters a slam attempt from the top rope with a crazy arm drag. Pretty damn cool. They fight around a little while longer to they end up getting to one of the corners. Bestia gets a couple good shots in, hits the muscle driver. Think of Muscle Buster, but instead of hitting the mat, he just sticks on his shoulders. AKA the Lucha La Gracia. I believe that's what it's called. Please someone correct me if it is not. It was tough to hear exactly. Bestia remains undefeated, loving the injection of the Crash talent here. Big fan of this. Bestia 666 is a great presence. I love him. I love how they're booking him. Great stuff there. Zelina, post-match, brags about her promoting prowess, and then Conan dickishly comes out to inform her that on her phone, that he still has, by the way, he has found a contract of sorts with the Caribbean champion Savio Vega, whom is in the main event tonight versus Hammerstone, by the way. Conan informs that there is a bonus stipulation in the contract Savio wasn't told about. Little sleazy by Zelina, if you know what I mean. Savio's music hits. He's on the ramp. He tears up the contract. On the stage, Conan gloats, walks away with Vega. Zelina looks into the hard cam and says, "Fuck." Quite good. I love this character work. Not sure how much the revenge porn on Conan's pulling here works today, but hey, I mean, he's kind of making Zelina a babyface in all this, but what he keeps finding, all the dirt he keeps finding on there, it's kind of poking at Zelina's not the angel that we might think she is kind of situation. Now on to what probably has become already my favorite recurring segment in MLW. It's the lifestyles of the rich and dynastic. It's, yes, the Dynasty gets their own little segment show, just like Heart Foundation, the new one, H2 segments. Hammerstone asks Holliday how he can afford this penthouse they're in, and then it's got hoity-toity rich people classical music playing in the background, the very stereotypical kind, and then Holliday says to him, "Well, I got this money after closing down that orphanage, of course." I about died in laughter. It's so bad. Then MJF comes in, and they're all making train sounds. Chugga, 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 chugga. Gift train! Yes, MJF gives them both gold watches, Rolexes. Hammerstone gets over-emotional. He starts crying off in a corner. Holliday just has his champagne in his hand, or wine, or whatever it was. And he just goes, I'm getting a little emotional myself. God, this place is awesome. This is the most douchebag thing ever, and I love it so much. H2 segment of doing backflips on a hotel bed instead of seeing cats do it for once, so there you go. MLW announces the return of the Opera Cup, which is, I guess, a knockout tournament that the legacy of Stu Hart won back in, I guess, the 40s. It's coming to December. The cup was donated by Teddy Hart. So MLW is getting a knockout tournament. Cool. All for that. That'll be fun to see. That's how you build a contender with limited screen time. That's how you make a lot of those undercard matches, like Bestia against Rey Oros would have been great for the Opera Cup. That would have been awesome. Contra segment introducing Ikuro Kwan from India, being the newest member, and who misted Marshall Von Erich, for those that are wondering from last week. Contra unit, Gotch and Samael versus Sky and Dominguez. Quick squash and beatdown, heavy boost from the crowd. Not much else there. Mansur does a promo, his whiteboard promo with the interview lady. Forget her name. She's quite cute. Well, she draws an awful grade school trees on the whiteboard for Mansur. Then Mansur gets a legit chainsaw and is waving around during his promo interview. And while he's talking about cutting down Zelina's trees, aka a reference to her group of minions. And interview lady is jumping each time he kind of pulls the chainsaw back a little bit. It's pretty glorious stuff, actually. Mansur's a good promo. Still not a total fan of his ring work, but he's got a great character and a good promo. Main event time, Hammerstone versus Savio Vega. 55-year-old Savio Vega, not the former WWF star from the mid-1990s. This is for the open weight title. Savio Vega's the Caribbean champion. They have an okay main event considering how slow Vega is at this point. It does have its heat to some extent. MJF, of course, follows Hammerstone down. He exposes the turnbuckle at the end of the match. Vega runs into it throat first via Hammerstone. I'm not sure if he was supposed to purposely do that or it's supposed to be the Bret Hart bump where it's chest first and fall down. Regardless, Hammerstone hits his nightmare pendulum right after that, but something absolutely horrible happens. Vega's legs go a very bad direction here. And when I saw that, I just went, fuck. Even, I believe it was Shivani who said his legs might be broken. I'd be shocked if he even walks after this. I mean, it looked real bad. It looked like Sid Vicious coming off a top rope leg break type thing. End up looking up on Google, like, what happened. Is Vega okay? Yep, severe stinger. He actually lost all movement in his leg for a good while and barely avoided a big-time fracture. He does need special surgery now for that leg, so he's out for an indefinite period of time. So fingers crossed for Savio Vega. Post-match, on a good feeling, though, Brian Pillman Jr. steals Hammerstone's red leather jacket and runs off with it. So, a very good show, apart from the injury at the end, but MLW was very glorious. I really liked that Bestia Rey Oros match. Look out for that one. So Rey Oros is becoming like the MLW MVP for matches. He goes out there, puts in a killer match. Airwolf is the other one I've really liked watching. And I've loved the two showings from Bestia Seis. Episode 71, we get a cold open of Mansur doing a promo. He's coming for Zelina. So that's continuing there. Zelina introduces Ricky Martinez to the ring as the greatest athlete in Cuban sports, clearly taking a shot at Conan. So he's facing Mance Warner. Martinez gets a couple moves in, but Mansur makes short work for him. Short work of him. Knee pad up, knee pad down, strike lariat, win. Pretty lame finisher, if you ask me. Zelina spits in Warner's face post-match. Mance misses spitting the light beer back in her face, hits Ricky instead. Ricky looks all sad in the ring. Oh, poor Ricky. He's such a stooge. I love it. I don't mind seeing Ricky just get the shit kicked out of him all the time. I like it if he's the enforcer, does the beatdowns, maybe beats up a jobber here or then, so he's not totally worthless. But him getting the shit kicked out of him like this was quite good. Lifestyles of the rich and dynastic have returned. Holliday is now in a bathrobe, probably naked underneath. He's holding a cigar in one hand and a nice scotch in the other. So we're really harping on this I'm rich and you suck. I forget what the term is, but it's the whole mentality of I have more money than you, therefore I'm better than you. That's clearly what they're going for here. So Holliday's talking about Vegas being the fighting capital of the world, and the champions are made here, and the dynasty have all the gold. Ah, what glory they have. Then the sound of the door opens. It implies a hot stripper is there for Holliday, and god damn it, he's gonna have the sex with her. We get a segment of Conan reiterating he wants his non-negotiable 3 demands for his revenge porn scheme on Zelina De La Renta. So there's that. H2 segment in a hotel bathroom this time, so they've moved from the flipping beds to the bathroom. And it shows Pillman Jr. showing off his stolen Hammerstone jacket from last week, and then Pillman pees on it. I quite like it. Pillman is... He's like the rambunctious teenager. It's like, well, what do we do to piss this guy off? Fuck, piss on it. Brilliant idea. So this one was better than flipping on the bed last week. Ace Austin versus Austin Aries. So, I'm so torn. I love watching Austin Aries work in the ring. I like how he's a good promo. But goddammit, his new Amish look and his shitty pants and gray beard, not a good look for the guy. I love Ace Austin. I think he's a big up-and-coming guy. And by the book, this was a middleweight match from MLW standards. 10 minutes of Aries doing his thing, hitting all of his key moves, Ace Austin bumping the hell out of it all. And the finish led to was Ace Austin goes for his extendo pole magic trick, but Aries blocks. Ref gets distracted, putting the pole away. Ace hits a low blow. I'm like, holy shit, is Aries going to lose this match? Who'd he piss off now? Kind of situation. Aries kicks out of the low blow roll-up, then catches Ace Austin as... so this was cool, though. Ace Austin goes for his fold, his running kind of blockbuster, and Aries catches him. Immediate brainbuster win for Amish Aries. So Ace Austin looked strong, looked heelish, went for his way, how he got his win over Airwolf, so I like the continuity there. What works on one guy could work on another, right? Well, Aries is still Austin Aries. There you go. Cuts a promo post-match saying you are going to find out who the real guy is, and he is coming for Teddy Hart's title. So I guess we'll see where this goes here. I did see a tweet from Austin Aries towards Jim Cornette's region and then Cornette responded, "Don't piss everyone off in the locker room. Maybe you'll be booked more," kind of situation. So I don't know if that's a hinting at maybe Austin Aries already burned a bridge in MLW. Hope not. That would suck for a number of reasons. Okay, so we get a segment of the Dynasty now again. It's the second time on the show, telling everybody that H2 is just being a bunch of criminals. Stole the jacket. Graffiti, stealing shit. Yeah, they're just proving everything they're saying, which is, when you do promos with truth in it and your continuity matches, then yeah, you buy into it more. Hammerstone gets given his jacket back from Aria Blake, and he references it smells like cat piss. So not only does this tell me Pillman peed on it, but Teddy Hart's cat's Velvet also pissed on it. Or Pillman has cat-like pee. I think the latter's more funny. Douglas James, a world-renowned kickboxer, has signed with MLW and will make his debut September 7th in Dallas. See where that goes. Sure, why not, I guess. Marshall Von Erich announces Kevin Von Erich, yes, the Texas Tornado himself, will be ringside for the War Chamber match. So, the Von Erichs and Tom Lawler Lawler cuts one where he wants to go to war kind of situation. But they still need to find a fourth member. Okay. Wonder who it could be. I still think it's going to be low-key. Havoc versus LA Park street fight based on Konnan's first demand, so there's still 2 more to go. It's your typical hardcore match. Table spots, chair spots, trash cans. Just hitting each other with a bunch of shit. Finish was Park running power slam counter. Throws Havoc onto 6 setup chairs. Quite brutal looking. I liked it. I digged it. Then Park goes, hits a top corkscrew moonsault of all things at his size. Crazy stuff. Finishes Havoc off with an awesome running spear into the same set of chairs. Havoc even jumps a little bit prior, so he goes flying in the air. They shake hands reluctantly post-match. Then Mansur's music hits, and he chases them all off Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, running with a chainsaw. It was a very glorious, funny sight. I loved it. This brings more questions, though. I was under the impression that Konnan's first demand was a loser leaves MLW match, just like the Callahan-Warner was. But I don't know. I guess he never specifically said that. He just wanted the 2 people to fight against each other and maybe have a possible dissension within Promociones Dorado. I don't know. That wasn't the case. They just had a street fight against each other, beat the crap out of each other, and, I thought this was leading towards Havoc, because he signed AEW. This was going to be his leaving of MLW, but I guess that's not the case. So, what we got here was a fantastic 4 straight weeks of MLW. Very happy fan. If you're not watching MLW, you're sleeping on them. Stop watching your 9+ hours of WWE TV each week and hop on the MLW train like I have. Took a little while, but I got on it. They're much more consistent ever since they got out of that, God, what was it, like an 8-week stretch in the same venue doing pre-tapings? Much better this way. Much better this way. Alright, where am I at? Okay. Where's my drop? There it is. Yes, what you heard there was the All Japan women theme music of Manami Toyota, the legend herself. Possibly one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yes, All Japan Women Classics from, you can find at Peroso Dream, featured on Samurai TV as well. This is episode 1 of All Japan Women Classics. I said I would do it. I'm fucking doing it. I am so excited to see not only a ton of wrestlers I've never heard of, I've only heard the legends of, I've never seen them wrestle before, and the legends of old really face off against each other. I'm very excited. So this was episode 1 that took place May 7th of 1983. The venue was Kawasaki City Gymnasium. It's an hour-long show, so it's very easy to digest. All Japan Junior Championship on the line. It's Norio Tateno, the champion, versus Hiromi Komatsubara. So Tateno is a bit older looking, with permed curly hair, and Hiromi is more of a bowl cut. Give you a visual. Tateno controls most of the 9-minute match with arm bars and a bit of hair pulling. How dare she? Eventually, Hiromi gets a high-speed comeback, mostly running the ropes, and she hits a big running crossbody, hits a big scoop slam, turns the half, really catch wrestling style, and gets the pin. New champion. My favorite move in this match was Tateno running Hiromi chest first into the ropes, causing that slingshot effect, and she whiplashes hard, back first, neck back kind of sit. It's very simple, looks rough, effective. Bring this move back. I quite like this in the match. Neither one of these women particularly impressed me. Nonetheless, it was a very short match, and I wasn't familiar. I'm going to have to see more before making up my mind over either of them. Now, the next match, I loved. This was a singles match, no title on the line. It is Monster Ripper versus Mimi Hagawara. Now, I love this match on so many levels. I gotta start with the intros. Hagawara comes out first in a full white queen outfit. Tiara, she's riding a throne carried by male lackeys. Immediate presence felt. She spreads her angel-like wings, which is like in a cape, in the ring. I love it. Really got me to pay attention. I'm like, okay, Mimi Hagawara, I gotta pay attention to this chick. This is immediately followed by Monster Ripper storming to the ring, pushing the smaller male lackeys out of the way. So she just shoves Hagawara's lackeys out of the way as she goes to the ring. She is large and in charge, and it has a massive afro-like perm. It is glorious. She is a big woman towering over Mimi Hagawara. I think the queen might be taken off her throne situation, was what I was gathering. They both get flowers given to them before the match starts, and Monster Ripper violently ruins them and throws them towards the crowd. I'm like, I love this chick. Bell rings, and Monster Ripper immediately takes the size advantage and does snapmare hair first pulls. She actually pulls some of Hagawara's hair out, and she shows it to the crowd. Good stuff. Knee strikes, dusty elbow strikes. Hagawara just not looking good. She's not in good shape here. This continues on with Ripper hoisting Hagawara full press body style, shoulder blocking her to death. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is going to be a squash match? There was even the classic goes for a running crossbody off the ropes and she just bounces off Ripper. Just awesome. Eventually, another person gets involved to help Hagawara, so we got a double team maneuver here. Double suplex and whatnot. Not a DQ, which was weird. The ref just wants the other girl out of the ring. It was very strange to me. But none of this matters because Monster Ripper is just too much and crushes the princess. Fun match. Love it. I loved everything about this. Hagawara has a presence. She's the queen. She felt like a big deal. Then Ripper comes off and, dare I say, rips her apart. Including her friend that tried to help. Oh, it was great. WWWA Tag Championship match. Devil Masami and Tarantula, whom are the champions, taking on the team of Jumbo Hori and Yukari Omori. This match was very surprising. Not familiar with any of these women going into it. Started off normally like the first match did. But then went into a Stardom-like tornado tag match with Tarantula brawling outside and Devil Masami being just a suplex machine in the ring. Hori and Yukari do a lot of your basic double team maneuvers and combos, but the real cool spot was the finish. The ref finally gets some iota of control to kind of push, I believe it was Omori, back into the corner. And this leads to Tarantula and Masami doing a double team work. And this was Tarantula jumps off the turnbuckle into Masami's arms, and Masami uses the momentum to throw her over her head, follow a slam style into Jumbo Hori for a crossbody, and that leads to the pin. Because Yukari then couldn't get back into the ring fast enough, because the ref counted a little bit quicker than usual, it felt like. Very cool. So All Japan women just crushing it right now. And then we have our main event, the WWWA Championship in a hair versus mask match, which, for all intents and purposes, I can only assume was no DQ. So, this felt like a big-time main event. It's Jaguar Yokota, the champion, taking on La Galactica. La Galactica comes out with a sweet silver mask and with a big woman in a full-body white jumpsuit. And, of course, a big perm. love the style here. This minion, this enforcer, looks like she's ready for a night out at the disco. Jaguar Yokota has the fans firmly behind her, and she is quite skinny, even more so against the thicker Galactica. After a few minutes of real good wrestling, lucha-style arm drags, Japanese arm drags, Jaguar gains ground control with submission work. It was quite good. It flowed quite nicely. This cues what I didn't like about this match, was the large jumpsuit woman to constantly interfere. And the ref is pissed, but she keeps doing it anyways, because I guess there's no DQ, but then why doesn't she just stay in the match the whole time? It's very confusing to me. So, with this, either the match has no DQs, or AJW doesn't have DQs, because the same thing happened in the Monster Ripper match. This woman just inserts herself into the ring to kick Jaguar off of Galactica, even during submission holds. The ref wants to throw her out so bad, he's beckoning her to go to the back, but she doesn't leave. Jaguar hits a tombstone pile driver, and after about 60 seconds of offense after that, White Jumpsuit Lady has had enough. This is now a 2-on-1 handicap match, in a hair versus mask match. She beats up Jaguar, rips her to the outside, lots of double teams. She even cuts some of the hair of Jaguar, kind of anticipating that, yeah, we're taking your hair kind of thing. This does lead to a cool moment of Jaguar just enraged, and a brawl ensues into the crowd. Eventually, they do get back in the ring for a suplex and octopus hold situation. There's a bunch of chairs in the ring. She chair shots ECW style Jumpsuit Lady, and then everyone else in the match she lays out in frustration. She hits a ref with a chair. She punches a couple trainers. She hits Galactica with a chair. And while the refs are down, everyone regains their composure, or at least Galactica and Jumpsuit Lady are back into the mix. They do devastating double teams on Jaguar in the ring, and this turned out to be too much as Galactica wins the title and wins her hair. So this match reminded me fully of kind of an Oz Academy match. A Zaki-gun situation. Not my favorite, but I do want to see Jaguar eventually get her revenge. I hope I do see that on the All Japan Classics. Unfortunately, she does indeed need to get her hair cut, in which she complies. Not without a little bit of a fight, but it does happen nonetheless. So, now I can do this drop. Yes, Mayu Iwatani's music has hit. I'm going to really enjoy watching the All Japan Women Classics. I've been meaning to do it for a long time, much like refamiliarizing myself with Mid-South and AWA or learning, so to say, and Mid-Atlantic wrestling. So this is going to be good. Stardom, Korakuen Hall, August 10th. Yes, they went back to Korakuen. Just going through right quick with these right now. So, singles match, Momo Watanabe defeats Saya Kamitani in her debut match. Match went 8:38. Saya comes out dancing like a cheerleader, and sure as shit looks like one. It was kind of off-putting. Seems like something out of Tokyo Joshi Pro, if you ask me. She has a bit more height on Momo and looks pretty good in her debut match. It was a strong showing. She appears to have some power, but because she still has a ways to go, Momo kind of no-sold her drop kicks a lot. So it goes about how you would expect, but it's definitely one of the better young lioness debuts I've seen in a while. I don't count Utami. She's in like a category of her own, because she debuted against Jungle Kiona, for fuck's sake. High-speed title match. Riho making her Stardom match debut in a title match against champion Death Yamasan and Starlight Kid. This match only goes 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Bit of a slow rough match considering it was for the high-speed title. Starlight Kid and Riho 1v1 was definitely my highlight. There was a switch-off 619 spot, and funny enough, when Riho avoided the first Starlight Kid 619, she went down to the first rope, in which Starlight Kid kind of rolls through and over to the first rope to hit her. Good stuff. Riho ends up picking up the victory and the title in her debut Stardom match. Nice. Like it. And since then, Riho's been in a bunch of trios matches with various factions, so not much else to say there. Artist of Stardom title match. Oedo Tai defeats Oedo Tai. Yes. The champion Oedo Tai team, Andres Kagetsu and Natsu Sumire, defeat the team of Hazuki, Jamie Hayter, and Natsuko Tora. And when I say those 6 names out loud, who do you think eats the pin? This match went 11:32. A no DQ anything goes, lots of sign hits. It was an Oedo Tai match. Very enjoyable. Hazuki was the big gun in this match, but alas, it was a beatdown of Tora in the end at the hands of Natsu and Kagetsu to finish things off to retain the titles. Very much enjoyed this. Very good showing. And now we've made it this far. It is another white belt Wonder of Stardom title match. Your champion, our champion, my champion, now Arisa Hoshiki taking on Jungle Workhorse Kiona. This went 20 minutes and 28 seconds. And ladies and gentlemen, Arisa does it again. This time against the 5th attempt, Kiona, going for the white belt. In her 4th defense, we saw Kiona really target the right leg of Arisa. And she targeted it hard. Take away her massive kicking game. And it worked. For a good period of time, too. Arisa sold the hell out of her leg with screams that would make banshees go, I want to scream like that. Even hopping one-legged periodically throughout the match to coincide with Kiona's work. Very much enjoyed that. Kiona was a ring general in this match. Presence was felt. One moment where Arisa attempts a Meteora on the outside. Kiona catches her, and slamming her back first on the apron was pretty damn vicious. I love that spot. It had me going. I'm like, oh my god, if Kiona wins the title right here, I'd be all for it, and then we could have a rivalry with Arisa. Yes, please. Give it to me now. Kind of situation. And this match was all about Kiona's legwork. And then transitioning into the power moves, since Jungle doesn't have a submission game at all. Where have we seen this before? And how did it end? We saw this when Jungle went for the white belt against Momo Watanabe. The same exact sequence of events occurred. Different power moves, but nonetheless, she thinks Jungle Kiona is going, well, I'm against a badass kicker. I gotta take away their kicking, and then I could do my stuff to maybe pin them. So she even hits her Kaneko Buster of all things, and Arisa kicks out. Oh boy, did I pop so hard for that Kaneko Buster. Eventually leads into Arisa then countering the Gut Wrench Powerbomb into a Meteora pin, which is a really cool spot. And this is when Arisa gains pretty much control all the way to the finish. Kicks, more kicks. Kiona trying to dodge. Arisa's leg hasn't been worked for a while now at this point, so she's got it back. They exchange forearms. Arisa gets up to hit a flash magic knee. Kiona escapes the pin via rope break, so we're going back to the kind of the Tsukasa Fujimoto rope breaking the Swanton Bomb. Arisa then violently kicks her hand off the rope, which was a very nice touch. These are the things in wrestling I love, are these character moments like that. This spelled the end for Kiona. Nonetheless, Kiona dodges a few Brazilian kicks. Then they get a running the rope spot. Arisa hits a blackout knee. Then a running blackout knee. Brazilian kick. 1, 2, 3. We done here. What a fucking finish. Just brilliant stuff. I mean, I'm seeing on threads, best bout machine, Aries Hoshiki. I mean, let's not get out of control here, but I think we're 3 in a row of, like, a match of the year women's contender, so it's getting hard to argue at this point, really. I mean, we saw, let's see here, I spoke extremely high of the Hazuki match. There's the Tam Nakano match, and now we got the Jungle Kiona match. I think they're all top 10 women's matches of 2019. I really do. This is incredible. How they rank, I will decide later. I'll have to rewatch them all. Just go 1, 2, 3 and figure it out after that. So, Kiona loses another title opportunity. Where she lies in the 5-star, well, she's in the same block as B. Priestley. So if we have history to go on, Jungle Kiona has an extremely high percentage win victory against champions in non-title matches. And then she has an extremely low percentage of victory in title matches. So I think that should be a glaring sign of what's to come when B. Priestley and Jungle Kiona meet in the 5-star. She will win, and then she will lose the title match. But speaking of the big title match, it's Red Belt World of Stardom title champion B. Priestley taking on fellow Queen's Quest member Utami Hayashishita. This match went 14 minutes, 18 seconds, and I thought it was a great time for this match. On the shorter side, but real good nonetheless. Excuse me. Utami is celebrating her 1-year anniversary with this big title match. Dons new gear, matching that of doing Azumi cosplay, if I do say so myself. This was, in short, the humbling of Utami, and the showcase of dominance of B. Priestley. Now, is it true dominance? No, but I will say dominance, nonetheless. I really like the dynamic here of no matter how much offense B. Priestley would put on, Utami wouldn't stay down. Lots and lots of power moves, and B's stomps were specifically on point in this match. I'm really liking how her presence was felt here. Utami's comeback was absolutely awesome. She hit all of her signature moves in a giant flurry, staggering Priestley. Multiple Germans, including her deadlift spot, but couldn't hit her torture rack bomb, so keeping that move strong. B hits a few vicious-looking blackout knees herself, and eventually getting her Queen's Landing finisher, aka the Ocean Suplex, the Japanese Ocean Suplex. So we got B. Priestley winning the match off the Japanese Ocean Suplex, and we got Tsukasa Fujimoto just not being able to have enough time after hitting the Japanese Ocean style suplex. For two people so young in the business, putting together this kind of a show, I'd be damn happy too. Because post-match, they both hug in the ring. Utami just couldn't hold back her smile. It was great. They were just so happy. They couldn't contain. They collapsed on each other. I don't blame them at all. Post-match, everyone submits their claim to the 5-star, and interestingly enough, Arisa makes note she has yet to lose a singles match, since her return, and B. Priestley has yet to be pinned or submitted in 18 months. So that only tells me they will be losing matches quite quickly. You don't say these things unless you want to make their loss a bigger deal to put over an opponent. That's the way I take it. It's either that or they go on like a cruise run. But I seriously doubt that's going to happen. And now, with the Korakuen Hall show done, I need to play another drop because we got the 5-star Grand Prix to hit. So, here we go.
You blocked me on Facebook, and now you're going to die.
and now you're going to die. Yes, the 5-star Grand Prix starts. The first 2 days, first 2 nights, whatever you want to call it, took place in Shinkiba on nights August 17th and August 18th, respectively. We have the first match of Azumi defeating Natsu Sumire in a very straightforward 5-minute match. So 2 points for Azumi. Hana Kimura facing off against Tam Nakano, in which we see a little taste of what Hana is, I think, going to be showcasing during here. Definitely a good, smart decision for the first round to be against a veteran such as Tam Nakano. They only had 6 minutes, 41 seconds to work with. It was one of the longer matches on night 1. No, I take that back. It was a middle one. I think Hana Kimura is going to have most of her matches like this, of this pace, of mostly hitting her shtick, right? And letting her opponents do their thing, and then just see what happens there until Hana Kimura faces off against the higher tiered opponents. But Kimura wins against Tam Nakano, 2 points for Hana. And then we have Saki Kashima against Mayu Iwatani, the Yankee, the scourge of Stardom's youth, Saki Kashima, taking on the face, the idol herself, Mayu Iwatani, sporting new gear for the 5-star, very sparkly. Do they shake hands to start off the match? No, they don't. But then Mayu wants to. She has been influenced by Saki's horrible deeds. She tries to flash pin Saki, doesn't work. They go through a quick 4-minute sequence of quick exchanging pins, trying to hit their moves. And what happens but Saki Kashima, once again, I would say controversially, pins Mayu Iwatani. I have proof online on my Twitter you can find at BowlingJD, Redleaf Retrocast, that Mayu's right shoulder was not down on the mat. Saki has pulled the hair during it's not a Gato clutch. I forget what she calls the pin. But nonetheless, she was pulling the hair. The shoulder was up, the ref was right there in position, and he still counted 3, so I can only assume Saki Kashima led to bribing the ref for her victory, and I expect more of this nonsense to occur from Saki during this tournament. Although I will admit her win percentage against Mayu is quite high. Yes, Saki does win, 2 points for her. Just a horrible fate us viewers have been fated to see. Moving on, Jamie Hayter taking on Arisa Hoshiki, and this match went 7 minutes long. And Hayter ends up beating Arisa in this first round. So Arisa immediately loses her first match after declaring at the Korakuen show that she has yet to be pinned. Well, now she's been pinned. And this match fell very flat. There was a lot of miscommunication. Hayter has gained a lot of weight, specifically in her legs, so she's moving a lot more gingerly than what I'm used to seeing. She has a lot of power, but I think that occurs with the tiny Japanese women, and she's not. Jamie Hayter's getting back. This is my theory. Arisa doesn't and hasn't faced foreigners, a lot of them, if at all. So this was a new style she's very unfamiliar with. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Jamie Hayter has to switch between the much lower talent level and talent pool in the UK, and then coming over here to work the Stardom style, the Joshi style, over here. So it's it led to a lot of mess, and Jamie Hayter ends up winning off the arm curb stomp. So at least this positions Hayter into a sense of strength. We'll see how she does in her next match to make a full opinion on the matter. B. Priestley defeats Andres Miyagi in under 6 minutes, and it was very one-sided. I was quite shocked, so B. Priestley 2 points there. Utami facing off against Jungle Kiona in kind of their rubber match. They've never had a discerning victory, and Utami does her torture rack bomb to Jungle on the apron on the outside. Jungle basically misses the apron, and her elbow goes first, and it looked very painful. So they have a power versus power match. Utami hit German suplexes, Jungle Kiona hitting lariats, and eventually Utami does end up tapping out Jungle Kiona via the torture rack. Very, very strong victory there. Then we had our my favorite match of night one, which was Hazuki taking on Momo Watanabe, and this felt like a fight. There was so much hair pulling. It went 9 minutes. It's Hazuki Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest. You felt it was two young guns wanting to reach next levels. Momo's kind of already there. Hazuki wants to be that next level situation. It blew me away. It was such a short, even though it was a short match, it did everything it needed to do. And Hazuki ends up winning off her, as I will call it now, the Hazuki roll. And a big flash pin situation. Her winning coming at any moment in time. It's like Zack Sabre Jr.-esque. I love it. I'm very much for it. Keep at it. Then we had our main event of Konami taking on Kagetsu, in which the match went 12-16. And a submission mat-based match, as one would expect from these two. So it naturally went a little bit longer. Didn't go to the 15-minute time limit. I think that's what it is in the 5-star. And what we saw was Kagetsu getting the better of Konami at the end of the match, and it led to a brilliant finish. Kagetsu wants to send a message during this 5-star that she's here and she's not messing around. She has Konami beat off of 450, and she pulls her up before the 3 count. Wants to hit one more kind of F5 situation. Konami reverses it into her triangle lancer and taps her out. For someone wanting to send a message, she paid the ultimate price. Kagetsu didn't... Konami didn't... she wasn't about to let that opportunity pass up. I love the finish. 2 points for Konami. And that was night one. Great night. Moving on to night two, still in Shinkiba. Momo Watanabe defeats the debuting Avery in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Avery is an Aussie, and she is very sexualized. It's her own gimmick. Like, she puts water in her mouth, she drools and rubs her hands. It's very, rubs her hands over her body, very sexual-like. She has red and black kind of situation going on. I'm not sure how the Stardom faithful are going to take to Avery. It's kind of like a Scarlet Bordeaux situation where the over-sexualized female character might not work in Japan as it would everywhere else. So I'm going to be it's going to be interesting just to see how Avery is responded to by the fans going forward. Hane Kimura defeats Natsu Sumire in 7 minutes 31 seconds. I did like the post-match promo. Natsu just goes, I feel sorry for you, Hana. During the intro, she just skips her entrance and pushes Hana right off the corner turnbuckle. Hana does a fantastic job of selling like she may have been seriously injured from the fall. She does end up getting control, and Hana does win in the end. 4 points for her. We move on to Jamie Hayter taking on fellow Oedo Tai stablemate Andres Miyagi in a power v power match. Just a brute match, basically, and a lot more one-sided than I was expecting. It went 5:45, and Hayter ends up winning. So now, Miyagi's someone who's looked very strong, right? Losing to the world champion is okay. But then losing to Jamie Hayter tells me one other thing. Jamie Hayter just beat Arisa in pretty convincing fashion, and now she's beaten Andres Miyagi in very convincing fashion. So Jamie Hayter has now been positioned, despite not having the best 2 matches, not even close, she's positioned as a killer right now. That she can beat anybody, any place, anytime, and dare I say, easily right now. And she's getting a little cocky, which cost her points last year. Maybe she's all business now. However, she did, before her promo here, be like, Arisa, undefeated? Psh, whatever. She was nothing situation. So 4 points for Jamie Hayter. Quite surprising. So that makes Hana and Jamie Hayter the top of their respective blocks at this point. Kagetsu defeats Natsuko Tora in 8:48. Natsuko Tora's better match in a long time, I would say. It was a lot of brawling outside. At one point, I made a joke that they really wanted the signs over in the back of the hall, and Natsuko Tora wasn't about to share with Kagetsu, so she chokes her with one of the signs, which she actually did. She hung her a little bit, but Kagetsu ends up winning nonetheless. Does a nice little promo after the match saying, Tora, I really like you in Oedo Tai. I like what you bring, but you haven't reached the next level yet. I will kind of await you getting there. And then they shake hands. Mayu Iwatani versus Azumi in a high-speed title match, basically. It was a 5-minute sprint, and it was exactly what it needed to be. Mayu ends up winning off a flash pin, and so it sticks with Azumi and Mayu kind of going back to her high-speed roots, and Azumi staying with her style. I quite liked it. It matched. Tom Nakano defeats Hazuki in 5:48, and this one was disappointing to me. I really expected more out of this. I think this match suffered from being too short. It never really got going. Tom Nakano kind of getting the better of Hazuki with a spin kick and just kind of clocking her out. It really brings down that Momo win for me. Now it not being able to beat Tom Nakano. Not saying Tom Nakano's a pushover or anything, but I expected Hazuki to at least make it more of a match. It just didn't get that feeling at all. But Nakano wins nonetheless, so everyone's kind of around the 2-point mark here. And then B. Priestley taking on Konami. A submission-style match it tried to be, but B. Priestley ends up dominating this one, kind of in similar fashion to the Jamie Hayter-Arisa match, where Konami got her offense in, but it ended up not mattering. B. Priestley gets a very convincing champion-like win. So Konami does not beat the champion, which I think I had as a prediction going in. Maybe it was Jungle Kiona. Well, Jungle Kiona, like I said earlier, with the percent, I think I had them both winning, actually, being a spoiler for B. Priestley. And then the main event was Utami versus Arisa. And holy crap, this was good. This was a strong showing. This is your future of Stardom, essentially. It did everything it needed to do. Utami got another strong win. So Arisa, your Wonder Champion, after being undefeated for so long, has lost 2 straight matches. This match went just under 12 minutes. So we got kind of a theme here with how the matches are laid out and how much times are allotted. I'm okay with that. Utami and Arisa look to be a big Wonder title program going forward. That's the way I looked at it coming out of this. Utami has 4, and B has 4, and Jamie Hayter all have 4 points in the blue block now, and Hani Kimura stands alone at 4 in the red block. Something tells me that Hana won't be staying there too long. So yeah, 2 great nights. Utami's looking strong as hell. Arisa is now playing come from behind, so the Shining Star is kind of she's kind of in that Ibushi position from the G1. And then everyone else is pretty much even, so what's to say? B. Priestley and Jamie Hayter are looking like killers right now. So I sense a battle of the top Gaijin approaching. Okay. Alright, guys. Stardom's really shaping up well. Where am I? Yes. Let's play this one. Yeah, that was Travis Banks's music. So, I watched the entire Smash Wrestling Progress crossover show, and nothing stood out to me really except 2 matches, and even then it's just kind of... I'm just going to gloss over it really quick and get right into the Progress Toronto show. There was a singles match of Toni Storm defeating Jody Threat in a 10-minute flat, I guess, time limit? No. Toni Storm defeated Jody Threat in 10 minutes. Storm just generals the match, really. Jody skateboarding Threat, as I called her, hit a few of her cool power moves. That's about it. Toni basically tries to get the best out of the lesser Jody Threat. I kind of wanted to see Toni Storm go up against what's-her-face Vet from Smash Wrestling and Canadian Wrestling aficionado. She was in the last Progress show. I forget her name. Not a very good match, though. 8-man tag match was the main event of the Smash versus Progress show. The Smash was represented by Red Death Daniel Garcia, Halal Beefcake tag team, whom is Idris Abraham and Joe Coleman, and the big dude John Greed. Vaguely familiar with these guys. Definitely more familiar with Red Death Daniel Garcia because of the Beyond Wrestling tour he went on for a few weeks. The Progress team is Chris Brooks, David Starr, Paul Robinson, and Travis Banks. I'm sure nothing could go wrong with these clash of personalities. But this was your basic 8-way roll-out do moves 1v1 match until the very end, where Starr and Robinson have their words of displeasure, which ensues chaos among the team. Team Progress falls apart, giving Smash the win. Best way to describe that. I wouldn't say this show is anything to go out of your way and watch. And that will immediately take me into the Progress Toronto show, which I was originally not going to watch at all until the Paul Robinson promo at Cheer Up Juice. And lo and behold, I actually got a really good. It was a good card. I was pleasantly surprised. We got an excellent 14-minute, 30-second singles match of Jordan Devlin defeating Travis Banks. Just a killer back and forth affair, doing all their hits to the crowd. The crowd got off to a real hot start. Devlin wins off a lung blower counter of the Slice of Heaven, which was cool to see. Hits the package pile driver for the win. I could watch these two go at it all day. I think this is their 3rd match this year I've seen from them. Excellent stuff. Singles match, Toni Storm defeats Holliday, whom had been built up over the past 3 Progress shows for this opportunity to face Toni Storm. Decent enough 10-minute match. Holliday got her heat, and then Toni Germaned her a few times into a strong 0 to win. So Holliday's time in Progress seems to have come to an end, and it looks like we're on a collision course for Toni Storm versus Jordan Grace, perhaps. 3-way tag team match. This was a really good match. I really loved Aussie Open versus the Dark Order. Yes, AEW's Super Smash Brothers, and the Butcher and the Blade from Beyond Wrestling. So if you can imagine a Dragon Gate-style tornado tag match, then this is for you. Aussie Open win via the fidget spinner, and so yeah, Aussie Open, strong showing. Dark Order, love them still. Butcher and the Blade, they hit their power moves. Then we get an awkward kind of camera cut sequence where it's Trent Seven and Eddie Kingston just kind of brawling by the merch table. It's really awkwardly. Scrap just awkwardly starts out, and it just becomes a match. The camera was absolutely atrocious and horrid until they finally got in the ring. It was just very odd. But once they got in the ring, these two just beat the shit out of each other. Just huge welts on both men. Trent Seven wins with a very scary top rope stuff pile driver. I feared for Eddie Kingston's life. I really did. We get a mixed tag team match of Chris Brooks and Jordan Grace taking on David Starr and Jody Skateboarding Threat. This is an intergender match. Grace and Brooks do win. The funny moment out of it was when Jody Threat gets in the ring and wants to take on Chris Brooks, and with the Progress WWE signed connection, Chris Brooks looks back at Smallman. This is supposedly Smallman's last show he'll be able to call on Progress. Looks back at Smallman, he's like, "Hey, does Hunter have anything to say about this?" Because he's like, "I can't fight a woman. That's against the rules." And Smallman like looks up at the rafters like at a fake camera, and he goes, "Yeah, Hunter says you can do whatever the fuck you want. Don't worry about it." So they have an intergender match, and it was a lot of fun. Progress Unified World Title match. This is the one where Paul Robinson had cut in amazing promo saying he's beaten guys Walter's size before. All it takes is a couple hits to knock him out. However, along the way, Paul Robinson lost a singles match to Trent Seven, which if he hadn't had lost that match, I might have had some inkling of belief that Robinson could win this match. But unfortunately, he did lose that match to Seven. He cut a good promo, so I just couldn't. This was the major flaw in this match. Despite it being a good wrestling match, there was not one single moment I ever believed that Paul Robinson was going to indeed beat Walter. This was a house show main event. So I was disappointed in that regard. The booking definitely took it out of the element for me. I just couldn't get my mind out of it. And I think that's definitely a fault on the booking to get to that point. So Walter does sell a shit ton for Robinson, especially a lot of tornado DDT moves, and he chops the dude to death. Paul Robinson at the end of the match looks into the camera with a mic, back to the drawing board. So there you go there. And now I can go on to WXW's show in Toronto. So here, wait a minute. What drop am I going to play? Yes, I'm definitely going to play that drop. Here we go. Yes, that was indeed Walter's music. He was in the main event of a WXW show, a VXV, in Toronto. I can't remember the last time, if ever, WXW had been to Toronto prior. Anyways, starts off with Shima defeating Brent Banks, Daniel Makabe, and Julian Pace in a 6-minute match, 4-way. Segment. This is followed by a segment of Lucky Kid in Schadenfreude gear talking to Kiev backstage about ending the issue with Pete Bouncer. So they're gonna have a match at Fan, which is Fan Appreciation Night. So think of like a Cyber Sunday situation. Kiev has no expression and doesn't hug Lucky Kid back. Oh, I sense him picking Bouncer's side now. He doesn't like Lucky, just pushing Rise away. Tisk, tisk, tisk. WXW shotgun title match. Emil Satoshi defeats Avalanche in 7 minutes. Okay mid-card match. Satoshi wins off his snapdriver after the ref takes a chair away. Very standard type finish. I don't know if the feud is heading anywhere after this. Seems like a mute flat ending, really, when it was all said and done. Satoshi didn't technically cheat. And he beats Avalanche clean, more or less. I don't know. Just does it seems odd. Non-title 3-way match. Amal somehow apologized to Karsten Beck about her getting DQ'd out of the title at the last show at Shortcut. And he still has to find a way to punish her. But not tonight. Amal does indeed face off against Allison Kay and Lufisto in a 7 minutes 50-second match. I will say this: the ropes during the show must have had so much man oil on them because they were so damn slippery. Particularly the bottom right hand side from hard camera view. Julian Pace almost killed himself jumping off them in the 4-way match. And in this match, they continued to be slippery. As we saw, Allison Kay slips off the same corner during a Tower of Doom spot in which she almost lands straight on her neck. It was very scary. But the match was good in pieces with Kay versus Lufisto, which doesn't surprise me at all. They're both wily veterans. Amal is getting better in the ring, but still moves pretty sub-staggeredly. Flops like a fish for bumping. Doesn't look too good. But you can't get better without wrestling. And in the current state of the VXV's women division, I guess she's your top choice right now. Amal throws out Kay, hits the Champions Maker on Lufisto to barely retain. If it was a title match, she does win. We get backstage segment of Fight Muller calling out Bobby Guns about the challenge back in February in Hamburg, that the next time that they were there, it would be for the title. Bobby Guns says his schedule's full. He's got to defend against Mike Bailey tonight. He has to defend against Tim Thatcher, who just won Shortcut. He never made that promise in the first place. Basically, it was all shit talk, if anything. Well, Karsten Beck comes in and more or less makes the match in Hamburg at Fan. What he does do is he inserts Fight Muller into a fan vote to whom's going to face Bobby Guns in Hamburg. He does put it on because he's like, oh, Hamburg local against the Bremen guy in Hamburg. That's got the Derby written right there on it, kind of situations. We'll see. We'll see if the fans vote. Depending on who it is, Fight Muller's not my first choice, to be honest. Do get Bobby Guns versus Mike Bailey for the VXV title. Only went 13:38. They have a pretty decent outing. Bailey gets a good home crowd reaction. Match was fine. Guns gets the win in the end. We get a segment of Tim Thatcher and Fight Muller talking about Tim's title op at Fan. I think it's night 2. And then how Muller has been left in the fan voting for the title, for the other title opportunity. Then talk about their excitement for Tag Festival. I guess they're teaming together. That's what I got. Despite Thatcher no longer being in ring comp. Basically, he's saying Muller can carry it alone. You know, he's doing what it represents. So there's that. Segment of Julian Pace wanting to know who attacked his friend Leon Van Gasteren at Shortcut. You know, who took his place during the Rumble match. Pretty Bastards come in and say they got Pace's back. Also curious to know if their tag spot is now open for Tag League. I really hope this isn't going where it is. Because I was hoping that, like, David Starr got so caught up in wanting revenge that this is going to lead to Pace wanting revenge and maybe a short little Julian Pace, David Starr thing, and that would get Starr into WXW to cause more havoc. I don't want to see the Pretty Bastards in this role of, yeah, we took out this tag team guy to get into Tag League because we're not allowed in it. You would think at one of VXV's biggest shows of the year or most important for building somebody besides 16 Carat that taking someone's spot in a Rumble would have more implications. See where it goes. No, anyways. Timothy Thatcher defeats Idol and mentor Yuki Ishikawa in 14:22. About as classic as a wrestling catch match as you can get, much like their Ambition match from before. So good stuff there. Very impressive if you want to see real catch wrestling. Segment about Karsten telling Dragunov and Walter to defend the tag team titles in Hamburg and on the last day of Fan. Ilya and Walter are furious and disrespected. They say they make their own rules. And the contract's with WXW now. Not, of course, because they're making reference to their WWE contracts. Karsten does not make the rules for them. They will, regardless, show up on the last day of Fan to... they will show up in Hamburg, and they'll show up on the last day of Tag League. So they won't be in Tag League. The champions are always in Tag League. So this time they say they're above the league. Whoever wins the league gets to face the champions situation. So a little spin on Tag League this year. I like the story. I like where it's going. Then we get a segment of a number of tag teams cutting I Will Win promos. And that goes into this match of The Crown defeating Aussie Open and Strong Hearts. That's El Lindemann and T-Hawk. So The Crown making good on their words that Jurn Simmons looks strong in Shortcut. They're tired of being overlooked. They want to be a legit tag team. The Crown are looking very strong. I would rather see Jurn Simmons get pushed into the main event scene again. Maybe have James do some heel things with him. Aussie Open losing in a 3-way didn't quite set with me the right way. Regardless. We get an awkward segment of Emil Satoshi saying he's done with Avalanche, but then immediately we get an Avalanche promo saying he went and talked to Karsten, and at Fan in Hamburg, it's fan vote to how they will have their shotgun title match. So, this was very strange. It would have been totally fine as long as Satoshi promo didn't contradict exactly why Avalanche even deserves this chance in the first place. It was very odd. And then we get our main event. Walter versus Daisuke Sekimoto. Match goes 17 minutes and 2 seconds. Oh boy. Before the intros, we get a short package of the history of Walter v. Sekimoto. First meeting was in 2009 during 16 Carat, and then in 2012, which is regarded as one of the greatest VXV title matches in their history. Their series as a whole spans Germany, Japan, and the US, and currently stands at 2 wins apiece. So this is match 5. So think of it as a best of 5 series. Luckily, nobody slipped on the ropes in this match. Only one of the night. It was the only one of the night other than the Thatcher Ichikawa match, I must say. Unbelievable. These two have the Haas match of all Haas matches of 2019. Not as good as Ishii v. Cobb, but it was almost there in my mind. It was very hard hitting, hard chopping, hard clotheslines, harder slams, all very simple and excellently executed. Walter ends up winning off the sit-out tombstone when it was all said and done. Glorious. I love this match. It's good stuff. Doesn't reach their 2012 title match level from 7 years ago. It was a great match nonetheless. Walter post-match thanks Daisuke for the match and him, but immediately turns on the crowd saying he is above this shithole in his German accent. How the company would be nowhere without him. The fans are disgusting pieces of shit, and how if he was in New York holding the VVV title, UK title, I realized how much better I am than this WXW and independent scene. How you people should be thankful for just seeing me in the ring. Now get the fuck out of here. And that triggers David Starr hopping up on the apron as a big surprise, big pop from the crowd. He starts immediately brawling with Walter. Starr gets the better of him, chases him off, and so that's step 1 of making Walter's life a living hell within WXW and possibly Progress. Most likely WXW only. Side note, David Starr is sporting one hell of a 1970s mustache, and it's glorious. Go to my Twitter at BowlingJD. I posted a wonderful picture of this kind of moment of him running roughshod on Walter. Good stuff. So the Toronto shows were solid shows. Each had one really good match on them. If I'm to look at all 3 Toronto shows, I would say the Walter Sekimoto match was the big takeaway one. Go seek that one out. And that leads us into Dragon Gate from here. Bobby Guns needs a challenger. He needs a very good match. And it doesn't seem to be any of the NXT UK talent. So someone needs to be built other than Tim Thatcher. That's my take. Alrighty.
R-E-D.
R-E-D indeed. Time for Dragon Gate. Hopefully we can get out of here in the next little bit. Dragon Gate. Quick house show, August 17th. Gate of Adventure, Day 10. Continuing that. Benkei defeats Punch Tominaga in 3 minutes. Squash match. Yamato defeats Kaito Ishida in 11 minutes. Not a squash match, but pretty one-sided nonetheless. So that's kind of tune-up matches for their collision course at Dangerous Gate. There was a couple pretty sweet 6-man tag matches on the shows. Maximum defeats Mochizuki Dojo. That is the Maximum team of Jason Lee, Masato Yoshino, and Naruki Doi. Love this trio. Very fast. And then the main event was Natural Vibes defeating Red, kind of a prelude to a tag match that they're going to have for the tag titles. That is Genki Horiguchi, KZ, and Susumu Yokosuka, taking on the red team of Big R Shimizu, Eita, and Yasushi Kanda. I kind of wanted to see Susumu face off against Skywalker, but Skywalker doesn't fit within red, so I kind of have to deal with the faction alliance on that one. That one was a 17-minute trios match. Dragon Gate style. I don't see any reason to go further into detail there. Now, Dangerous Gate. Ooh, this was a good fun show. Undercard. Quick and solid as usual. Strong Machine retained the trios titles. But let's get into the big matches. 6-man tag team match went 16-12. Maximum, that's our same trio team. They lose to the Tribe Vanguard team of BB Hulk and Kai with Ultimo Dragon. So what this is, it's another Ultimo Dragon showcase match. Real fun, trade spots all around. Especially loved the Dragon Kid versus Ultimo Dragon 1v1 spots. There's a really funny one where Dragon Kid tries to break up an Ultimo Dragon sleeper hold. Or no, it was the Indian Deathlock hold, which he had on Jason Lee. Dragon Kid goes to kick Ultimo Dragon off him, and Ultimo Dragon gives him just the dirtiest stink face and stink eye you've ever seen. And Dragon Kid just kind of runs outside the ring, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fuck up like that, Ultimo Dragon Sensei, I didn't mean it. Situation, it was good. There was a long post-match promo of Ultimo Dragon kind of crying in the ring, hearing the thankful words of all of his pupils. Not sure about the rest of the promo, how that went down, or whether that will lead to more Ultimo Dragon in the future. He's done a lot of these trios matches for Dragon Gate, so Ultimo Dragon, ladies and gentlemen. We get a special singles match. I believe it. No, it was for the Brave Gate title. I think it was. No, it wasn't for the Brave Gate title. It's Shun Skywalker facing off against Yokotsuka. Not as one-sided as the Dream Gate match that they showed earlier. They showed a replay of the Benkei Yamato. I'm sorry. That's from past notes, because I was quite confused. They showed a replay of the King of Gate match between Benkei and Yamato, and it was very one-sided affair, and this match followed that, so that's what I'm referencing here. This match suffered from two things in my mind. A, it was too short, and B, Yokotsuka lacked any ounce of charisma here like Sonata in New Japan. Skywalker got his moves in and some near falls, but ultimately couldn't overcome the power game from the bigger Susumu. The only real near fall Skywalker got was a flash pin counter with a bridge, which after the kick out, he tackles the ref in disbelief situation. And that cued the end of Skywalker. Some power moves, a sit-out dominator later. Yokotsuka wins the match. I liked it while I think it lacked in too many places. There was a really, really strange spot where they both go to a corner turnbuckle at the same time. And Skywalker looks like he sells like getting kneed in the chest or stomach, but Susumu didn't actually, like, you couldn't tell he did anything. It just looks like Skywalker just kind of goes over. It was very strange. Santa Maria jumps Susumu from behind post-match and nails him with the Kiss of Death. He challenges for the Brave Gate title, which is then accepted by Susumu. They were going to shake hands in agreement, and then Santa Maria gets another Kiss of Death on him for a second time. So there you go. We are seeing Santa Maria have a major title match, singles titles match in Dragon Gate. We'll see what happens. For those not familiar with Santa Maria, he is the transvestite-like character in Dragon Gate. So anyways. Open the Twin Gate title, no disqualification match. Oh, this was glorious. This was glorious. Goes 21 minutes, 8 seconds. It's the team of Red, Shimizu, and Eita taking on the Natural Vibes team of Genki, Horiguchi, and KZ. And if you've listened to this podcast, I love KZ. He's my favorite guy in Dragon Gate. Red comes out second after the dance show from Natural Vibes. Shimizu carries 2 ladders, while Eita brings out a Natural Vibes member he has clearly beaten up backstage. This immediately prompts KZ and Genki to rush down to save their friend in a brawl to start the match. Thumbs up from me right here. This was kind of a TLC match affair. They made that clear immediately. Shimizu and Eita beat down Genki for a good chunk of the match, and at one point even having Eita actually cut a good portion of Genki's dreadlock ponytail. Very shocking. This beatdown went on seemingly forever, but it does impact the finish to the match and how it ends. The KZ hot tag, however, was friggin' awesome. KZ runs absolute rough shot and wild on Red, almost beating them by himself. He even performs a top ladder flip senton onto Eita, whom had a bunch of chairs on him. Hits crazy hard elbows, including a Torpedo Moscow, which gets another near pin. This causes other RED members to finally whom hanging out ringside, to interfere. Natural Vibe members even the odds and gets this match back on track. Eventually, Shimizu does a top ladder splash through a table onto Genki. It was a glorious splash where he spreads his arms like an eagle and then just goes, whoa, bam, crash, leaving, and the table doesn't split in half. It's a literal Genki Horiguchi body, like through the table, like the shape of him, cartoon style. It was quite great. But yeah, Eita takes out KZ from saving the match. Loved it. Great tag team match. Then we got our main event, the Open the Dream Gate title match. Ben K, in his first defense, taking on the veteran Yamato that they've built up on the house shows. They replayed in the middle of their show again to reiterate their encounter in the King of Gate tournament, where Ben K won a very one-sided affair in about 15 minutes, which was cool because I missed that match. Although it did throw me off, because I'm like, why is the main event this early? And I was like, oh, maybe they lost footage or something. That felt weird. Anyways. So this starts out with the feeling out phase. Then it's the suplex machine phase from Ben K, leading to a belly-to-belly over the top rope to the floor, Kurt Angle style, which was pretty damn epic. Ben K goes for multiple top rope front drop kicks, and then on the second one, Yamato avoids. This triggers this triggers kind of Yamato channeling his inner Shibata with his drop kicks, a submission phase to rip Ben K apart, which I really enjoyed. The running corner drop kicks of a standing Ben K looked especially killer, just hearing the crack of the face. I know he's slapping the leg, but that's what it came off as. We got some cocky forearms from Yamato, and this triggers the fighting spirit in Ben K. as they both run the ropes during Yamato's forearms. Benkei ducks into a devastating spear that just cuts him in half. There was a really cool spot of Yamato countering a powerbomb into a Frankensteiner, then triangle choke. I really like that spot. Benkei powers out into a powerbomb, and then to a gut-wrench sit-out powerbomb, 2 big spears, and on the third one, Yamato reverses into a sitting Rings of Saturn submission, so this was clearly a game plan here of counter into submission moves. It ends up going to the end, almost repeating their King of Gate match finale. They have a forearm exchange, but Benkei basically knocks out Yamato again, so the same finish there. Yamato reaches the ropes off the rear naked choke this time, which he tapped out to in the King of Gate match, but gets a gut-wrench sit-out powerbomb to lose for his trouble. Very good, very enjoyable. You know, I watched a few of the house shows, I watched the encounter, them showing the King of Gate match meeting prior, got me to see the story between the two. 2 thumbs up from me. Good job, Dragon Gate. Benkei looked... I wanted a strong veteran defense from Benkei. This gave me that. It gave me everything I asked for and a little bit more. It has the similar effect that the Aries Tom Nakino white belt match had with me. So there you go. So Dragon Gate had a good month, I would say. August was definitely one of the stronger months of the year. Probably the last 2 years, actually, considering. That was Dragon Gate. So now... it's New Japan time. I hope you're elevated, because it is time to talk about the New Japan G1 Finals. Hey! Hooray! Da-da-da-da-da-da! Fucking A, what a show. Holy crap. We even got to start it off hot with the Young Lions match, a tag team match. LA Dojo versus the New Japan Dojo. Clark Connors and Carl Fredericks defeat the team of Ren Narita and Yota Tsuji. Ooh. This is not Young Lion practice. This was not Young Lion I Practice Boston Crabs match. This was, and felt like, a rivalry between the dojos building. And then news came out, I believe this week, or at least over the weekend, that the Young Lion Cup is coming back. So, great timing. I loved it. Connors and Fredericks of LA Dojo get the win. How about that? Skip some of those tag matches in between. Not much happened there. Ospreay looked good, etc., etc. 6-man tag team match. Bullet Club, Bad Luck Fale, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa with Jado taking on Chaos members Ishii and Yoshihashi and partner Kenta. I guess he wants his Bullet Club revenge. This match went 8 minutes, 35 seconds. Now, the match happened, sure. But what actually happened? Well, Kenta never tagged in, and when it was time, and Ishii went for the tag, Kenta jumps off the apron. How dare he! Chaos loses the match via Kenta giving Ishii the GTS. Oh, he's turning heel. And then he starts beating him down. He starts beating down a Young Lion. Shibata hits the fucking ring. And with tears in the eyes of the crowd, for one short, burstful moment, we see the Katsuyori Shibata of old. Forearming all who stand in his path from pummeling his so-called friend he brought into New Japan, his so-called friend he trained in the LA dojo for the G1. He crushes Kenta in the corner and delivers his corner-running dropkick. Oh, the ovation of the crowd. The tears in women's eyes. Children rejoicing of a hero coming back, even for one short, blissful moment. But it was all for naught, as we hear the crack of a kendo stick hitting Shibata's back as he goes for his patented penalty kick on the betrayer Kenta, as we see Jado emerge from the corner. Oh, what a bastard. The numbers game catches up. Kenta goes for a step further with a mocking penalty kick, and the coup de grace of it all, after beating Shibata, is sitting on his chest with the Shibata pose, Indian style. A monumental picture, a monumental angle, a monumental moment of Shibata and betrayer of worlds Kenta. How much do we hate Kenta now for ruining our moment in time for Shibata? Hating on the man who just couldn't take it, not being cheered for his efforts in New Japan. Oh, this angle. Oh, this heel turn. Kenta's joining Bullet Club. Oh, my wrestling salivatory glands are going... They're running wild, one might say. Best angle of the year, and it's definitely the best Bullet Club joining I've seen in God knows how long. My God. If it's just for this one moment, then what a way to put a heel over. If it leads to a program with, leads to a feud of Shibata and Kenta, oh fuck, give me that too. I'm okay with either. Tag team match, Suzuki-gun, Misu, and ZSJ defeating the power couple of Tanahashi and Okada at 15 minutes 27 seconds. Of course, a very solid tag match, as one would expect with these four. Suzuki mocks Okada the whole match with putting his hands behind his back, for example, asking for forearms from Okada. He even dances around his neck, further mocking how rested he is compared to Okada just coming out of the G1. One gotch pile driver later, Suzuki mockingly pins the champ and cuts a phenomenal promo. You just got pinned by the champ. You just got pinned by someone who wasn't even in the G1. Sucks to be you. You should just hand the IWGP title over to me now, says Minoru Suzuki. And they're on a clash course this weekend, in fact, for a title match at Royal Road in the UK. A place where Minoru Suzuki has reigned terror over in Rev Pro. So there you go. Works for me. And then we have our G1 finals. Kota Ibushi taking on Jay White. Jay White representing everything one hates when they watch the G1. They want the G1 to be in wrestling's purest form. No cheating. Who's the better man? Well, Jay White isn't about that. Here he comes down to the ring. Entourage in tow. Bullet Club. He is not pretending. He has cheated his whole way to the tournament finals. Do you think he's not going to cheat now? Get out of here. Oh, it is classic heel as you can classically get. Jay White isn't playing around. He did the angle at the block finals where he took Ibushi's ankle out concerto style. And so this was the story of Kota Ibushi not needing anyone for him to reach the plateau of New Japan, reaching his golden moment for the Golden Star. And Jay White wanted to crush that star with his hands. Be the switchblade that he is. There were ref bumps, yes. There was low blows, yes. There was Gato, absolutely yes. But what does Kota Ibushi need? No one but his fighting spirit. Kota Ibushi is New Japan. He is taking the realms of Hiroshi Tanahashi. He is going to take our hearts and our love of wrestling to victory. And that's what he did. And that's the best way I can describe this match in that story. It went 31 minutes and 1 second, and I loved every fucking second of it. This is how you do heel versus face, evil versus good. There you go. No complaints from me. And that was the G1 final, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's simple enough. Ibushi has to defend his case, and Okada has to defend against Minoru Suzuki, so we're on our road to the Tokyo Dome, ladies and germs. And that was New Japan. Short and sweet. I'm happy with it, and I hope you are too. Turns out my brain was telling me Ibushi Naito in the finals. My gut told me Ibushi White. Either way, I had Ibushi winning. So, there we go. Smart me. And with that, that leads to the final segment, WCW Thunder. Here we go. Okay. Do I have scotch for this cast, or whiskey, or any sort of alcoholic drink for this one? No, I do not, is the answer. You know what would get me to drink in celebration, though? You leave it an iTunes review. At Redleaf Retrocast. Go do it, I will read it on the cast. I'll read on any cast. Whether that's the anime, the gaming. Put it in your review if you want it read on a specific cast. Go for it. It will be read. Again, go hit up that iTunes review. And with that, it's time for the retro review as I take a sip of my water. So we've talked about Sergeant Slaughter on this cast. We talked about All Japan Women. Now it's time for WCW Nitro, taking place on July 27th, 1998. We're on our way to Road Wild or whatever pay-per-view we're heading to. I think it's Road Wild. We start off with a highlight package of last week's Nitro and going full nighttime TV drama mode. A first, from what I can remember, on Nitro. Yeah, they do the whole, what will the NWO do next? Tonight on Nitro. Nitro girls in Texas cowboy gear start off the show dancing from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Since last week was all about Hogan unleashing the NWO Hollywood, tonight is all about WCW fighting back. So Goldberg will be defending the belt and the streak versus Bryan Adams. Sure. That's WCW fighting back, I guess. Scott Hall and the NWO crew out. Hall cuts a promo and says at the upcoming Road Wild pay-per-view, it's NWO Hollywood versus Big Sexy Kevin Nash and the Wolfpack. What kind of match that is, they didn't say. They're just gonna go at it. Okay. Then Bryan Adams cuts every I am going to win the title promo ever. Moving on. Segment 2. Raven sitting in the corner of the ring, cutting his Against Society's Norm promo. What about Raven? What about me? Saturn runs to the ring for some reason, rushes out, calls Raven a spoiled rich kid, harking on that's Raven's past. Then Canyon shows up. Saturn hits a T-bone suplex on Canyon. Raven stands watching. Just stands there. Beckons Saturn to hit him. Then Canyon, I guess, saves Raven from a DVD and flatliner Saturn. Everyone then simply walks away. Okay. No idea what the purpose of any of this is, other than Canyon saving Raven, as commentary emphasized heavily. So we are really just getting further and further away on how this feud started and what made it hot in the first place. It all seems like a massive dream and a massive waste of time now. Especially if Canyon just joins Raven like the past Flock members did. Boo. Boo boo. They've systematically killed this whole angle for me. This whole three-way. This whole dissension in the Flock. This whole Canyon. I love the Canyon character of any time, any place, anywhere. That's a thing of the past. Forget it. It's gone. We can all pour one out for Chris anytime, anywhere Canyon. Okay. Barbarian with Jimmy Hart versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. A slow nothing match. Duggan rolls up Barbarian after he misses his boot on Hart. Hugh Morris comes out for reasons. Followed by Meng. Duggan gets his 2x4, chases them off. Goes to shake Meng's hand because, put him there, pal, you saved me. Well, Duggan gets a Tongan death grip for his trouble. That's that. Okay. Boy, if I had a shot of tequila right now, I would take it because I have to talk about this segment next. A jalopy of a car is outside in front of a star sign to mock Jay Leno. So, of course, Eric Bischoff and the Leno set is back with Miss Elizabeth in tow. Hoorah. More of the same jokes from last week. Lots of terrible jokes nobody likes. You know, Monica Lewinsky, Jay Leno chin jokes, Viagra, you know, the hits. And of course, this just went on and on and on, where we all died a little bit inside. The laugh track hurt my soul even more than usual, so after a 6 grueling minutes, we go to commercial. We come back from commercial, and fuck, it's still going on. Bischoff, for a couple minutes, reads bad newspaper clip-outs, then brings out his guest, Hulk Hogan. Fuck! It never ends. Totally tuned out the Hogan promo about Leno and Goldberg, whatever, no one cares. Segment finally ends, clocking in at 15 fucking minutes. Kill me. Over 20 minutes if you count the commercial. Nitro Girl Fire does a hot dance. Mean Gene interviews injured DDP. Basically, DDP reveals it was Hogan whom jumped him last week and wants a piece of him tonight. Very, very lame reveal who it was. But maybe, oh maybe, by the grace of wrestling gods, DDP can match his word and end the god of wrestling, whom is Hogan. Fingers crossed. Eyes crossed. Toes crossed. Cross your cats. I don't know. Do something. Please have DDP win. Norton, Dusty, and Scott Hall raid the commentary booth for a segment takeover. Scott Hall calls out Sting tonight, and Dusty calls for a gag order on Larry Zbyszko for, I guess, taking Dusty off commentary back in February of all things. We all totally forgot about it. I fucking forgot about it. That was that Dusty Rhodes heel turn off the Zbyszko-Scott Hall match, and then that led to nothing after that. Zbyszko got on commentary, which is weird. Scott Norton versus Neidhart is in the ring now. Norton hits a quick power bomb, wins in 5 seconds. No crowd reaction at all. Really getting Scott Norton over. At least they're trying to. I guess they're setting Scott Norton up for Goldberg. Maybe. Goldberg highlight package at 120-0 at this point. Then commentary says they have an interview to hear from Goldberg for the first time. You know, maybe that should have been something you start off the show with? Maybe, oh maybe? Well, the camera cuts to Mean Gene outside Goldberg's personal locker room, but the place has been ransacked, and NWO graffiti is everywhere on the walls. The horror. Where is Goldberg? Is he okay? Well, he's not there. New U.S. champion Bret Hart is out for a promo about how Hart is going to be the best U.S. champ ever and a fighting one. Says Sting is actually his friend and how they both like the same moves and the same things. And it wasn't his intent to confront Sting, but rather it was Sting's own fault for losing the tag title match and getting distracted. Even though Hart got physically involved. Anyways, let's see where this weird promo goes from here. Jericho versus Dean Malenko with a last time stipulation match for the Cruiserweight title. So this is Dean's last chance. If he doesn't beat Jericho here, he will never get another Cruiserweight title match as long as Jericho is champion. Basically, Jericho beats Malenko. No more Malenko. A high-speed, great 6-minute match with a fuck finish, of course, because it's WCW. I loved the first 6 minutes. It was fantastic. And then Jericho brings in taped brass knucks. Now you know what you're thinking. Oh, the ref gets distracted or whatever, and Jericho hits him, or Malenko hits him and gets the pin, and whatever. Gets the best over the dastardly heel. Ah, but you forget you are watching WCW. Fools you are for thinking of something logical. Instead, Malenko does in fact end up with the brass knucks, and he cracks Jericho over the face. And instead of throwing it to the side, or hiding in his trunks, or doing anything, he holds him up for the crowd to see and rejoice. I have hit Jericho! And the ref sees him and DQs him. Okay. That's that. No more chances for Malenko. The ref did raise Jericho's knocked out arm. Pretty funny enough. Cut immediately to Mean Gene outside of another personal locker room Goldberg is in now, and it's now under guard. All the security and police force are there. Hennig versus Mongo McMichael. A short, quick fight. Rude interferes. Hennig wins off the perfect plex. Not much of a match, but not long enough to even grasp really any of it. Whatever. Oh, God. Well, Hogan and Bischoff are out. Hogan cuts a Bring It DDP promo in like 30 seconds. It felt like a 5-minute promo that he had to get into 30 seconds, so very rushed. Thank God, because anytime Hogan and Bischoff come out now, I'm just like, okay, I'm looking up shit in my phone, waiting for this to be over. Then WCW replays the entirety of the Bash at the Beach tag match of DDP Malone versus Hogan and Rodman. I fucking skipped that thing so fast, there was no way I was going to watch another 35-minute match. Goldberg out for an interview with Mean Gene. The moment and questions people have clamored for. When will Michael Jordan play basketball again? When will Mark McGuire hit 60 home runs? When will Goldberg talk? So Goldberg's music hits, and he comes out of a room surrounded by police officers, and they escort him to the ring from the back for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very cool scene. All for an interview with Mean Gene Okerlund. Kind of funny in retrospect. I didn't remember it going down this way. But anyways, Mean Gene asks him, what does Goldberg think of what Hogan and the NWO has going through their minds? Goldberg says nothing was going through their minds, and the NWO crossed the line with Goldberg tonight. So I guess by messing up his private room, that's crossing the line. Anyways, he was very intense. Anyways, Goldberg is going to make an example out of Bryan Adams to send a message to the NWO. Alright, I'm a little bit more interested in this match. At least to see Goldberg kill the guy. Mean Gene out for interview number 3. Make that 3. This time with Arn Anderson. And this was as you would expect, a good promo. Anderson proceeds to cut recounting the losses of all the so-called reforming horsemen of the night. How they suck, basically. And now he's telling them to let it be and stop bothering him about the 4 horsemen. So now he's getting serious. He's getting super serious, guys. Scott Hall versus Sting, a.k.a. NWO Hollywood versus Wolfpack. A killer smoke machine is going off in each corner post for Sting, making for an awesome entrance. A good killer main event type match that ends as fast as it started after all of 4 fucking minutes. Bret Hart comes out, Sting confronts him, NWO hits the ring for the DQ. NWO Wolfpack hit the ring to even the odds. NWO Hollywood go away. There you go. Mean Gene interview number 4. Number 4, ladies and gentlemen. He's on a roll. Scott Steiner and Buff Bagwell come out. Steiner jokingly pushes Bagwell in a wheelchair to recount how he's totally fine from his injury. They pretty much run their mouths a lot, make light of the injury, and Rick Steiner himself, J.J. Dillon, comes out, furious at all this nonsense, disgusted at Bagwell's actions and turning on the fans that gave their hearts to the guy, and he's gonna make damn sure it's Rick versus Scott Steiner at Road Wild. Because I guess Bagwell's not ready in the ring? I don't know. We all know how this is going to end. Scott Steiner and Bagwell are going to interfere in one another, and Rick Steiner's going to lose. Whatever. Goldberg coming back out with policemen in tow, getting him to the ring. Well, it's indeed a Goldberg match. Lasts 120 seconds. Spears Adams twice. Vincent once for his trouble. Jackhammer. We done here. Crowd pops. Okay. Show's over, right? Oh, that's right. We have not Goldberg in the main event, which is weird considering the pop and excitement level of the fans, and he's the current fucking world champion. But no, it's Hogan with the Disciple against injured DDP. Why? Flip the other two. Anyways, Michael Buffer introduces the main event. DDP goes on a big attack with taped ribs. He's been sporting all year, by the way. They say he now has a knee brace on, but it's under his gear, so you can't see it, so that makes sense. DDP and Hogan have a match, I guess, is what you could call it. As good as you can get with immobile Hogan at this point, I suppose. DDP hits a diamond cutter, and after 4 minutes, it's almost like clockwork. The NWO hit the ring for the DQ, and the NWO Wolfpack come out to make it a brawl. Oh my god, it's like deja fucking vu. Goldberg rushes out to the ring, okay, because, right, his locker room got ransacked. Ooh, them youths. But Goldberg knocks out some NWO Hollywood members out of the ring. Giant gets him from behind with a choke slam, and bang! The show goes immediately off the air upon impact. So it's a cool cliffhanger, but shit way to end the night with another DQ finish. So we had, on this episode of Nitro, this nonsense-filled show. It wasn't as bad. Well, I take that back. The entire middle of the show was hot garbage, with the replay of Bash at the Beach, main event, and the Jay Leno segment. But there was 6 total wrestling matches, 3 ended in DQ, 1 clean finish, and the other 2 we didn't care about. The fuck? Oh, just scratching my eyes in just disbelief of tomfoolery as a wrestling fan. Shout out to the Anime Radicals. It's a anime conglomeration podcast that we're a part of. Red Leaf Retrocast. Wrestler Rankings. My god. Gotta get WCW out of my head immediately. Alright, Wrestler Rankings. Let's just go through this right fast. I'll do the men first today because this one was pretty kind of straightforward. 15, Rey Oros. 14, Bestia 666. 13, Paul Robinson. 12, Travis Banks. 11, Jordan Devlin. 10, Tim Thatcher, which might come as a surprise, but I do say that catch wrestling match was so different. And I don't know, it just felt really good to watch. 9, Kenta for the angle alone. 8, Minoru Suzuki for the tag match and him pinning the champion. And then we get into the big performers. 7, KZ, 6, Sekimoto, 5, Walter, 4, Yamato, 3, Benkei, 2, Jay White, and 1 should come as no fucking surprise. It's Kota Ibushi. Then we get to the women's, which was so very tough to, structure all this. And I think I got it. 10, Konami. 9, Kagetsu. 8, Momo. 7, B. Priestley. 6, Hazuki. 5, Jungle Kiona. And then these 4 were probably a lot easier to... Actually, So, if Hazuki had won her second match, she probably would have been higher. But Jungle Kiona had the 2 good showings. Mayuki, he's 4. Utami's 3. Tsukasa Fujimoto just crushed it in their match, and then Aries has won again, I think for the second or third cast in a row. Something like that. She's up there. It's definitely the second in a row, at the very least. So, those are your wrestling rankings. Go on to Red Leaf Retrocast on Twitter, @BowlingJD, to see the updated top 10 tables of the men and women for the cast of 2019. This has been episode 38, titled Dangerous Euro Toronto G1 Finals, episode 38. And I'll see you next time.